I'm at the airport bright and early, pretty much 4 hours before my flight. Not quite, but just about. And the reason for it is I missed my flight yesterday. Um, Now, there's still little tweaks here and there because I've never flown out of this airport in Punta Cana before. So it's kind of strange that they don't have people at the desk. I mostly see kiosks, which does not have Frontier Airline listed. And speaking of Frontier Airline, it wasn't quite their fault. Besides the fact that coming here they canceled the flight, and I had to get a connect flight. So it was a bunch of first time for everything situation. So it was my first connect flight. Stopped at Atlanta, and I think I waited around for like 2-3 hours, and then got on the next flight from Atlanta. It was whatever because I wanted to get on with the trip, right? This airport is actually a lot of space that's not filled in. So I don't know. I don't know what the theme is, but I'm really trying to get through the gates right now because it's just empty here, and if somebody don't show up at these agent booths soon where I could actually check in, because it's the same problem I had when I missed the flight. I couldn't check in. So they keep telling me I need to verify my documents, which they close an hour before the flight takes off. So I'm here 3 hours and a half, so I don't see nobody. So I'm not gonna panic yet because maybe they'll show up, or maybe I need to talk to somebody to, but in the meantime, I'm doing this video. But anyways, I missed the flight, and also coming here when they canceled the flight, obviously what happened? They gave me credit, and I think I got on another one. Did I pay a price difference for that flight? Can't quite remember. Did I? I'm trying to remember. Did I pay a price difference for, did I even use credit? Or, okay, I think it gave me a one, it's your chance to get on another one for no fees or whatever. So it kind of forced my hand to say, okay, this is the next flight that's leaving. But from there, I had like 2 hours to get to the airport. So I got to the airport and made sure, the trip was alive. But as you know, wait around and got here like pretty much in the afternoon rather than the morning that I planned for. All right? So fast forward, now I'm getting ready to leave, like I said, late on my part, and so forth and so on, right? And I would add on some more things that happened, but you know how it is. When things start to go wrong, what else can't go wrong, right? But I take responsibility. I fooled around because I've always been on point. Like, as far as check-in, it gives you 24 hours. Guess what? I'm doing it once, I get that email notification, or, the night before I'm thinking about, all right, what time is my flight tomorrow? I didn't do none of that, right? So that's why I said, it's completely my fault because I did not do none of that. So I pretty much, while I was driving to the airport late already, I tried to check in, which it showed me that I need to verify my document, just like I need to verify my document here right now. But at this point, it's not enough time. I'm rushing trying to get to the gate. I'm thinking when I get to the agent booth, which is not the one here, because I already knew those lines was going to be backed up. And if I was with JetBlue, I would have been able to use the kiosk as I usually, and some other airlines also use the kiosk. Once again, none of that and all the running around just to find out, hey, they marked you as no show already. Although the flight didn't leave, I still got like that 30 minutes before takeoff. So I'm like, man, if I could just get up in there, you know what I'm saying? I could make it work. I even paid for the fast tick entry lane or whatever, but they were not going for it, right? So I say all this to say, first, when I try to address the matter and the WhatsApp number they gave me with the live agent, they was giving me one option. And that option was you book a connect flight. Because it's a connect flight, they're not going to charge you for a price difference out of the airport that you originally have your booking for. That's cool and all, right? If you just want to get home. But tonight, I have work. I got to get back to work on a strict basis because in 10 days, I'm flying out again. So that wasn't working, but still a consideration because I don't want to come out of pocket for whatever price difference, right? But no straight flights, none of the flights out of Santo Domingo Airport was gonna get me home on time. Everything was arriving next day on some crazy 18 hours, obviously for a 4-hour flight. You don't even want to stay for 8 hours, right? At the airport. So I called one number. By the way, the internet in the Santo Domingo airport is trash. The one here is better, There's nowhere to sit. Here, obviously, there's plenty of seats. I'd hate to say it, I never thought, I'd be in Punta Cana airport anytime soon because I always think, all right, Santiago Airport is cool, Puerto Plata is cool, and Santo Domingo. But just getting here by accident, it means I like it because usually there's cheaper flights coming here anyways, and there's better airlines that comes here from Philly at least. So when I'm thinking about coming to Dominican Republic, this might be my hub, right? We'll just see, because I didn't actually take the flight yet, but where I was staying, not where I was staying, because I got a little cheap spot for that one night, which I could talk about that later. I didn't even bother to do Airbnb reviews this trip for other reasons. And so, but anyways, back to the point I'm making. The internet is no bueno. That added on to my stress actually. So I'm connected to the internet, but I can't. Where the internet actually working a little bit, they're playing music because it's like near like the food stand and all that. And the minute I got up and called, because the live agent on the WhatsApp can't really give me more options than what they're trying to give me, which is whatever I said, which is like a connect flight, no price difference. So I called an agent, give him my information, blah blah blah, pulled me up, boom, the call just hangs up. All right, let's do it again, because at this point, you already missed the flight. You already know which which flight you're gonna get, which is now at this point, I know I'm gonna have to get a ride to Punta Cana, and get on that flight. So I'm like, all right, there's a 12 p.m. flight. It'll get me in there at about 4, and then I'll have like 6-7 hours to get myself together to be back at work. That works, right? So I'm talking to the next agent, and I don't know why, but everybody's is treating me different, right? So the next agent told me that flight is actually full, which is a lie because I'm looking at the flight and it's not full, right? And there's more reasons why I knew it was a lie. I'm looking at it right now. I'm all stressed. So then she actually looked it up, so she didn't tell me that, oh, you can't fly out of another airport. She actually looked it up, and the only issues from her perspective is that it's already a full flight. Okay. Obviously, I'm not gonna, I'm close to feeling defeated, but obviously I'm not gonna, leave it right there. So I said, all right, I'll just call back if anything. So I paused a little bit. I think I sat down by the bar, ordered me a drink, and then I called again because, every time you hang up and call, you get a different agent. And each agent has a different point of view. So this next agent tried to tell me, well, you didn't show up for your flight. Like, it started negative from the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have hit my breaking point right there because I was about to be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already kind of saying that. Like, I'm like, yo, all the other agents, they went through the process at least. They didn't tell me off the gate that they can't help me. They were willing to do at least a one-time, whatever that is, to actually help me out. So it was like, all right, hold on, I'm gonna talk to my manager, because sometimes it's just that simple, right? And I guess from that little hold, if they actually talked to the manager or not, they went through and said, okay, it seemed like you called earlier or whatever, and then you hung up. I said, hell yeah, I hung up, because I'm trying to get on such and such flight because such and such reasons. It was like, oh, okay, let me see if I can help you with that. And then, long story short, I was booked for that flight, and now I'm here. But it was just like I said, when things are not going right, it's not going right. So I'm here early, and there's still a few things that I have to figure out. So instead of using the time, let's go see the reason why. What's going on. All right, peace.